Arsenal versus Aston Villa is the first big test for Arsenal, and that will be tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff here in the UK. Of course, that will vary depending on when you guys are watching from. But let's get into it now. This is also surprisingly, for in a very long time, I would say, probably since the Unai Emery era, we've have a very difficult start of the season, and Aston Villa is the first big test, and especially away is the first big test for this Arsenal team to see have we improved from last season. Are we still going to be up there? Now, Aston Villa, the famous Aston Villa, were the reason. 2 losses last season, and both losses came. We played Aston Villa 2 times, and we lost both times. And I think both games, I think we didn't deserve to lose. I think the first game in their stadium, away, we deserved to at least get a draw. And the second one, honestly, the game should have been 2 or 3-0 up. Also should have been 2 or 3-0 up in the first half. We should have been outside from Aston Villa in that first half in the Emirates Stadium. But unfortunately, the lack of finishing and the lack of, just being a bit unlucky, but mostly just the lack of finishing is what cost us in both of those games. And the test and the question is going to be, can this Arsenal team improve from last season? Well, have they improved? Well, we're going to see tomorrow, because for me, this is a very big game. When you consider Aston Villa and Unai Emery, especially when you look at Unai Emery's history with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, coming up against a manager that you replaced, and a manager that's not only done you 2 times, but he's actually done you 3 times when you played in the Europa League with them, against them. 3 times Unai Emery has beaten Arsenal. And the test is going to be, can Arsenal and Arteta claim revenge? Can they seek? It's because it's going to be a redemption game. They will have to seek revenge, and I'm sure the players and I'm sure the manager are aware of that. I'm sure the manager is 100% aware of that he hasn't beaten Unai Emery, and I'm sure the players are aware of that, and that's why I expect Arsenal to go win that game tomorrow. For me, we cannot afford to draw this game. We have to go win. We have to lay a stamp on the season by winning against Aston Villa away. And because let me tell you, Aston Villa are definitely going to be up there this season. Whether they won't be there for the title most likely, but they will definitely be there in and around the 4th spot, because Unai Emery he's a really good manager. And he has set up a really good team. The summer window, they signed Onana. Yes, they lost Douglas Luiz. Was it Douglas Luiz? I believe they lost. But then they signed Onana, who I believe is just as good as him. I mean, that midfield for me is where Arsenal will. For me, the midfield battle is whoever wins that midfield battle is who will win the game. And then when you look at last game of Arsenal's, Aston Villa with an impressive win against West Ham away. Also, I would say an average performance against Wolves. But the midfield is where the game will be won. And when you look at our midfield, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, the only one who's really lacking in terms of, I don't know, what would you say, lack of sharpness, or in terms of sharpness, I would say it's Thomas Partey. So for me, Thomas Partey has to have a big game tomorrow, because I'm sure he will start. And he has to have a big game tomorrow, because if Thomas Partey, if we do not win that midfield battle, I am 100%, I don't think we will win the game. I think it's most likely a draw. But we need to win that midfield battle. And that's why Thomas Partey has to have the performance of his life. He needs to turn up, because he alone can, when you look at the lone number 6, he can, create those passes, create those angles. And for me, Thomas Partey, I think, holds a very important role in tomorrow's game. In terms of the lineup, let's talk about the lineup. Now, for me, the lineup, I would probably go with the exact same team, except I would not play Zinchenko. I would play either Calafiori or Timber for this game. Because when you look at Aston Villa's wingers, you have Bailey coming out. Bailey, you still got Watkins who can drift on the wings. We need defenders who are switched on, and Zinchenko, whilst he has had a decent start, he still has lapses of of concentration, and he's prone to letting a man run past him, and that's why we need someone who's constantly aware, who can defend. And for me, that's why I would go with a Timber or a Calafiori. I'd most likely go with the Timber because he's played more. But if Calafiori played, I would have no complaints. But it's a big game, and Arsenal must win this game. For me, yes, if we don't win the game, it's only 2 games into the season. It's not the end of the world. But we need to win early. We need to lay a stamp, because when you look at last season, we started off the season really slowly, and ultimately, that is what cost us at the end of the season. For Arsenal winning the league, it was a start to our season. And the season before that, We started off like a fire, but it was the end of the season that what cost us. And this season we have to get the balance right. We need 100% perfection if we are to win the league, and that means winning this game. We must win this game because it's all about mentality. If we go win this game, then we got Brighton, we got Spurs, we got Man City, and now these games, you know, you're filled with confidence. The team is filled with confidence. But if you don't win this game, now you start having doubts. Are Arsenal still the same team from last season? Have Arsenal regressed? A lot of doubts will start creeping into this team, and that's why for me, a win is a win. We need to win. There is not. We have to win. It's no excuse. We can't draw. We can't lose 100%. We 100% can't lose, but we can't afford to draw. We need to win this game. We need to lay a stamp on the league. So Arsenal are the same team from last season, because there will be a lot of doubters from this season saying that Arsenal maybe are not the same team. So that's why for me, we need to win. And for me, that play, we cannot we have to show we have improved from last season. The one way we do that is by taking our chances and putting the ball in the back of the net, because I can't be asked once again making another match reaction saying we need a striker, we should have scored those chances, because I'm so tired of the same thing. It feels like it's the same thing sometimes with Arsenal, that we create but we can't put the ball in the back of the net, and that is going to be the number one thing. Because Watkins, you give this guy one chance, one goal, and that is exactly what they'll do, and then they'll just camp out and then hit us on the break like they did last season. So for Arsenal, when we get those chances, we have to score. We can't afford to miss chances. And I'm sure the players know that, and I'm sure the managers know that. I'm sure they know that in their mind when they are playing up against Aston Villa, that this was the team that ultimately cost us the league. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. Do I think we're going to win? I do think we are going to hopefully win the game, because when you look at it, when we played Aston Villa, we were playing Aston Villa a good time. It's still the start of the season. When we played them last season, they had something to fight for, which was top 4. But right now, we're still at the start of the season. So, and hopefully we actually have something more to fight for than Aston Villa this season, which is win the league. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. But of course, what's more important is your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like the video. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.